Hi, this is Stacy Kennedy, founder of www.100krealestate.com. And over the last several years, I've had the opportunity to speak and train literally thousands of real estate investors all over the United States and in Canada. And one of the things that comes up frequently when I'm dealing with new investors who are interested in getting into apartments is the question, well, how do I know if I'm ready to get into apartments yet? So what I'd like to do is just spend a few minutes talking about what it takes to make the transition from investing in single-family homes into apartment buildings and what some of the differences are. So for starters, let me just say, it really doesn't matter where you are in your real estate career. If you've never done a real estate transaction, or if you've done many transactions, the reality is apartment buildings are for everyone. If you understand what to expect and what to expect out of the deal. So, for example, you might be a new investor or you've invested in a few single-family homes or small properties and you want to go into something for passive cash flow. Well, it doesn't mean you have to go from owning 2 single-family homes into a 100-unit complex. When you get into multifamily, anything that's 5 or more units is considered to be an apartment complex that would be financed through commercial financing if you're financing it traditionally. So there's nothing wrong with starting off with maybe a 10-unit building. And that's a great place to start. It gives you the opportunity to understand what it is to have 10 units under a single roof instead of 10 units under 10 roofs. You start to understand that there's systems that can be put into place that takes a lot less of your time than dealing with 10 different tenants at 10 different locations throughout the city that you're investing in. So there's some huge benefits there. Also, you can always employ the help of a property manager or an on-site manager to handle the day-to-day questions and concerns that come up with your tenants. You might be a hands-on person and want to do that yourself, which is totally fine, and I definitely say you're going to get excellent experience, though you'll probably get burned out eventually, but it's fine to start doing that. You really get to know the business, you get to know your building, you understand what are the normal kinds of repairs and maintenance that are going to come up in a 10-unit building. What is it like when it comes to rent time? Do tenants usually pay on the 1st, or are they paying on the 5th? Or are they paying on the 7th and you're going to have to send out late notices, etc. It gives you a feel and a flavor for what it is to own an apartment building before you jump into something that's much bigger. But the nice thing about it is, once you do start investing in apartment buildings, you'll see everything that you do is a system that you create. So for example, on the 1st of the month, rents are due, right? And if you have a 4-day grace period, and that means rents are due no later than the 5th at 5 p.m., you have 10 rents that you're expecting to come in no later than the 5th at 5 p.m. Well, when you have 10 different houses, that's a lot of different tenants you're having to keep track of. When you have 10 units in one building, essentially what you do is you just look at your list, and if you see that units 3, 7, and 8 have not yet paid, you simply create your system so that on the 6th of the month, you issue a notice to pay or quit, which is essentially the beginning of the eviction process. It doesn't cost anything to fill out that form. But if you systemize what you do, then automatically on the 6th, those go out. And if you're in a market where it's a 7-day notice, then automatically in 7 days, if that tenant hasn't paid, then that notice gets filed with the attorney and the real eviction gets going. Okay, but when you have 10 units under one building, that's so much easier to do. Likewise, now let's say that you've done 10 units and you're feeling pretty good and you understand what it is to have an apartment building, you get the kind of reports that you get from a property manager or the kind of reports you need to create for yourself or have your bookkeeper create. It's a very natural progression to move into 20, 30, and 50 units because the systems are exactly the same. It's just that now you have an opportunity to get to know them a little bit better and to really see what can I do to make this process of investing take even less of my time. Because we all know it's not like we got into investing for the purpose of investing. There was usually some other reason that we got into it. Usually, from all the thousands of people I've worked with, the one thing that is very common throughout all of them is they want more time. They want time with their family, time with their friends. They want freedom. And they want the finances that it will take to create that freedom. But ultimately, the freedom is to do what you want, when you want to do it, without having to check with anyone. Well, having an apartment building as opposed to a whole bunch of single-family houses is going to help you meet that goal of spending less time in your business. Although you do have to spend time, I will never, ever, ever be one of the people who claims that investing in real estate is a passive activity. It's passive compared to going to a job and sitting at a desk all day to make the same amount of money, no doubt. However, there's one thing that you always have to do, and especially for those of you who are new investors, please listen to this advice. This is going to save you worlds of hurt. Trust me on this one. This is a lesson I had to learn the hard way. But when you are investing in real estate, the reality is that nobody is going to care about your real estate the way that you do. Nobody. And if you're not caring for your real estate, nobody is. Even if you have a property manager, understand you're one of many clients of theirs, and it's not their building. They're simply being paid a fee to do property management, which means at all times you need to be engaged with what's going on in your building. And it doesn't mean you have to physically be there. When I've done real estate in 7 different markets across the country, and I've worked with clients or coaching students real estate in literally all over the country and up in Canada, and been able to help them through creating systems. Okay, so it doesn't mean you have to physically be there, but what it does mean is you need to engage with your team on a regular basis to make sure that nothing's falling through the cracks, you know exactly what's going on, and that they understand who the leader is in this. You are the investor. And even if you don't feel it, you don't feel the confidence, this is where you come to fake it till you make it, because it's your building. You're the one who's ultimately going to have the benefits from it or the downfalls if you don't manage your team and don't manage your building. So, you know, real estate is passive to the extent that you're not going to a job and sitting at a desk and doing work, or you're not pounding a nail. It's passive in that way. However, it is never going to be passive in that you just say, okay, I got the building and I'm done. It's not passive in that way. And I'll tell you what, you will be so much more successful as an investor if you go in knowing that and owning that. It doesn't mean it has to take a lot of time. It could be something where you're meeting with your property manager over the phone for 30 minutes every other week. And when you get the reports each month, you're actually looking at the report and seeing what's in there and questioning. Because the last thing that someone's going to want to do, if they know that you're an owner who's looking at the reports every month, the last thing that they're going to want to do is try to slip something by you if they know you're always questioning what it is. So it takes a little bit more time and effort than the investors who really want this to be passive, but I also guarantee that you will have more profit, you will have more time, and you will have many more assets down the line as you build your business the right way. So again, apartment buildings are a great way to start to systemize your life so that the real estate that's a part of your life doesn't have to take up your life, and it can become the profitable, life-generating, fun-generating asset that's supposed to be. So once again, this is Stacy Kennedy with 100K Real Estate, and have an awesome night.